at least all homesteads will be covered. Today we want to talk about still the national population census, but also to talk about the progress. How are the things out there now? You can be part of this conversation. Just go to our social media platforms, X, Facebook, YouTube. You can follow this conversation live and tell us your experience in your area. Have you been counted? If not, have your neighbors been counted? Is there any appointment? Of course, these days the enumerators even call and I mean place appointments with other people. That is good news, and I mean this is a new achievement, a new development. An enumerator calls. I know people here who were called, and the enumerators were asking for when they will be available to be counted. That is very good, and of course that is worthy celebrating, and we appreciate WUBOS for that. Today we have the one, Mrs. Helen Namirembe Nviiri. She is the Director of Population and Social Statistics in WUBOS. It's a pleasure having you this evening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
yes.
We are delighted to have you, and kindly greet our viewers before we get into our discussion today.
Good evening, our viewers. Good evening, our listeners. We are glad to be here this evening to give you some news about the progress of the currently ongoing population and housing census 2024 enumeration exercise.
That is very, very important. Just to start off, how is the census so far? This is day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is day 5 of the population census. How is the progress?
Thank you very much. The progress is good, especially in some areas, in most areas of the country. We already have established staff. We have created structures with whom we have been working since the time of training, the time of recruitment. We are working with all the district local governments. We are working with key ministries, departments, and agencies. But on the ground, we are working with the district leadership and local government staff.
Okay.
Yeah, we also have representatives of the Census Commissioner at those levels. And by the time I left, actually, I rushed from the office. We were busy running the update. I don't have the results with me because of time, but I wanted to give feedback. This is a very critical time, especially with the server, when especially those members or those districts which are underserved have poor network coverage. They usually wait when the traffic is getting less and they are remitting data to the server. Yes, yeah. Actually, whenever you want to talk to an IT team, you can't talk to him in the evening. He will give you less attention. He says, "Helen, please don't disturb this. You know, this is a critical time." Yes.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Now, yesterday there was a headline in one of the newspapers that there will be an extension by a day in Kampala. What about in those other places where, because I know some places where up to now the enumerators have not yet started working, and this is day 5.
Yes.
What's going to happen to those places?
Yeah, of course, in real sense, that will not be an extension, because we already we did a pilot testing and tested all the processes and what we would call a dress rehearsal. The enumeration is 10 days. And if it is 10 days, of course, we are starting with the very first day when you start enumeration. But hopefully, we'll be able to work within those areas, especially those areas which have not yet started, to be buttressed by the staff who will have completed. We'll see how to work it out when it gets to like day 8 or day 9, because we are monitoring on a daily basis. We have to sit and take collective decisions. It's not that you decide as a single person, because you get all the reports. There are 146 and over 2,000 sub-counties. that are really monitoring this exercise. Yeah.
Okay, that is interesting. Now, this time round, we moved from the other system where enumerators were carrying booklets and then filling booklets after booklets. Today, is it called a copy? I know a colleague I met in the morning and he told me, no, my name is no longer so and so. I'm now a copy guy. Well, how has this digitized census process minimized error in data collection, and probably highlight some specific examples of how the digital tools improve data quality compared to the other paper-based system method?
Thank you very much. Whenever you try, I would give an example of using this software or this application or system, data collection system. Like if you're maybe applying for a visa, or not only a visa, if you're applying for a passport, today you cannot submit hard copy forms.
Exactly.
You go online, you make sure you have all the details, the needs of those persons who are going to be your referees. The system, the way you go through that system and you navigate could be something quite similar to what we have. But these tablets, so you call them CAPIs. CAPI stands for Computer Assisted Personal Interview. It's a method of data collection. But because we use the electronic devices, so it is a slogan, it's a slang which we usually use. CAPI, my CAPI, and that's one. Yeah.
So this guy proudly calls himself a CAPI guy.
So what happens is that the digital technology is very, very helpful. It saves time for the data collector, and saves time for the enumerator, in the sense that everything is programmed. If you are asking information on education, they will give eligibility age from those who are 3 years and above. So a kid of 2 years, it will prompt and get to the next section. So you don't waste time to as you are reading, because even then when you are reading on paper or using paper, it gives you the instructions that skip to this next question. And also when you are looking for the categorical codes, which codes should I assign, because you find that maybe there are over 40 codes for education now, which is the right one. But navigating through the CAPI makes work easier for you. So you find that even those areas where I would have omitted questions are not there. Those days, because I am lucky to have seen, this is my third census, because my first was in 91, but I joined when they were doing data processing. So most areas we would see, you find some questions are blank. And yet age is a very important variable, so you find that they skip some sections of which are really the heart of the discussion, the rapport with the respondent. When you are collecting data, age is very, very important. It's a key determinant for other validity questions or subsequent questions in the questionnaire. So you find that if it is not there, you don't know what kind of record you have. And so here you harness it at that level. So, but the amount of load you give to that tablet, we've also learned lessons from other countries. You don't overload it with so many integrity checks, validity checks. What am I saying here? That you find that if somebody say there is a question on what do you use as your main source of electricity, then you will say we use solar. But if I ask you, what do you use for cooking? And then you say, umeme, electricity, is it possible? So it can't be. You find that maybe the person interchanged. And so if you are really so strict and you go to that level of detail, every question you put those restrictions, they will affect you. But the beauty with it, you produce the data, we have seen the data, you get timely results. We are already seeing the results, we as statisticians, but this is only for a few people. We are looking at the back end of the data. we are able to communicate to the staff. We have prepared a schedule of meetings where we would want to communicate to them. And of course, you can't release them, but you already see what is coming through. We have designed platforms whereby you can monitor this country digitally, in the sense that you are able to see, you've indicated there are some areas where they have not yet started, and we are aware and we have knowledge. So you are able to see which areas geographically which are not sending data. And it shows gray areas. So if you already have the information, then you know. But you find that maybe some areas you may not have the reasons, and you have to engage the leadership there. And maybe quickly there were some replacements, some people pulled out, or any kind of reason. So you follow up with your line of reporting. So the other issue is that so you are able to get timely response. In terms of monitoring, you are able to know that there is a problem in this district. And also you run some kind of information. Why is it that these people, their numbers are low? Because we have some projections. Not that when we do the census, we simply go out there to the field, but we scientifically, in the past, using the 2014 census, we've been generating annual population projections. So we already have some indicative areas. On the map, we use maps, and when we were doing the listing, we knew that some of these areas were submerged. So now when we see that they are coming up with data, what is happening? Can we go back to the Google map? Then even the districts will tell you that those people there was an out-migration, but now they are back, they have resettled. We've seen this in some areas like Chikube. So you find that the power of digital technology, it's not only the tablet, but also the other platforms where you are able to have the spatial nature of this country being linked to the data, the results. And whatever you do, because it is digitized, you take the GPS coordinates, you are able to see where the results are coming from and which areas are affected. So in short, I would say that one, the beauty of it is that it's maybe the omissions in the households, but the questionnaire content, you can't simply force things, but you will have some, the degree of quality, or the CAPI tries to minimize the errors so that you have less workload when you're doing the post-census editing.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that submission. Now, there is another issue. I'll talk about this particular one that happened in a place, of course, in my ancestral place in Kalanga, Lumitiana, where some person deliberately refused to be counted. And I think she influenced the neighbors. And then I saw the RDC coming in, and she later accepted, but she was taken to police to make a statement. But I look at a situation where we have people who have deliberately refused, and probably there is no solution at hand. What are you doing to address that particular challenge, especially now that we are in our last days?
Yes, we are in our last days. We are halfway. We have done lots of publicity, like we are on Family TV today. People are watching us, and we know that the message goes down to the community. We have worked with the district leadership, facilitated them to hold meetings at that level. You know, it can never be, there is no big exercise, such an enormous exercise. We will not face challenges. They will always be there. You will always have negative people to pull you back, but it's how you manage. The law is there, but we really worked. We have worked with this, with the internal affairs. Not that we want people behind bars or what, but we want that collaboration. We want the world to know that, the country to know that, all the nations and the nationals to know that this exercise is important. It comes once in every 10 years, leaving no one behind. So security RDCs are taking it up because they know the demand for data. They have been sensitized, and they know that once you miss this round of censuses, whatever mistake you make, you will live with it for the next 10 years. If there is any omission, if there is. So we are here, we don't want to leave anyone behind. People should stand to be counted. Elections will soon come, and these things affect our communities.
Yes.
Government has changed the way they plan, in the sense they want to begin at the lowest, at the grassroots level. So without data, without planning, without data at the parish level, because we've worked with the Ministry of Local Governments, this exercise is benchmarking, and we are going to continue with the process. Of course, they as local governments, they will be collecting data, especially administrative data, on a routine basis. Some of the tablets will remain at the parish level. So this data is important at that level. If you are not there, if you can't plan if you don't have data. My supervisor usually says it's like when you are at Kampala Road, then they tell you to cross the road when you are closing your eyes. That is the way if you don't have data, that's what it means. Yeah, so you might be lucky and you cross the road and there is no car to knock you, but
the chances are minimal.
High that you will be hit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So don't go to those levels of lack of data. So the moment you go lower, the numbers are reducing. So if you are not there and you find that these people can mobilize a whole community, and you find if it's an entire village which is affected and they have that negativity, they don't want to participate, so it will not be good. So that's why I think that's why the other collaborators and partners are coming in at that level.
But I think we were warned in advance that whoever refuses to be counted will face imprisonment. Yes. And at least that we are aware. Now, there is this other sensitive challenge where at least 3 enumerators have lost their lives in the exercise. Yes. And we've seen others faint in the process. I mean, so who was supposed to provide security to these enumerators? Was it WUBOS? Was it the community stakeholders? All enumerators were supposed to be vigilant by themselves?
All this is two-way. Two-way in the sense that the employers and also the human being, the employee. But I didn't go into detail of the reports because there is a team that is handling that. We really feel sorry for the losses, and UBOS came in. But we have worked with the security forces. There are community meetings at that level, like Kampala. We know where the hotspots are. And how are we going to work? Because even on the first day there was we had to enumerate the floating population. Yes. But we worked with, of course, we were having tablets and they were being supported. We were being supported. I know you cannot have all the eyes on everybody, but I think some cases there were those scenarios that happened. I can't explain, but what has happened is that we have worked with the local levels, local governments, to discuss all these issues. Where are the pockets? What can we do? Because they have gone even to the extreme whereby 2 villages cannot conduct an interview, where the leadership has disagreements regarding they have a border conflict. And our mandate, it doesn't allow us to resolve those conflicts. There is a whole ministry responsible for that. And once they are responsible for that, we bring them on board. They have to create an environment, an enabling environment for us to collect the data. It's not that what happens thereafter we are not interested, we are, but it's not our mandate. So these things we have been working with a bigger team, each one having separate roles, and we are supporting one another.
Okay.
Yeah.
We pray that such things don't really happen again.
Yes.
I know it is another setback in the process.
Yes.
But besides the challenges we've talked about, are there any other challenges that you have so far encountered in reaching remote or marginalized communities?
Yes, we've had challenges. The rains have really disrupted the program. They have been heavy, especially Western Uganda, Eastern Uganda. Floods, we could see in the media some areas being submerged. The enumerators, they would also share the photos. And of course, this delays the work, the rains, but we can't avoid it. What do? We have to work. Yeah, and also other areas which are underserved in terms of transport, island areas, they are special in a way that accessing them is not easy. Even you find that some villages, maybe around Lake Albert, you have to get to the boat, not that you simply go round, but the easiest way or the shortest way to supervise them is by taking a boat and that kind of thing. The mountainous areas where there is no transport, where you have to use walking sticks. The other areas where we have been also in terms of infrastructure development, we know that not every area has a network coverage, which is good. It has affected us. Electricity is not in every area, but we had to improvise and procure power banks and to give to so that they can charge the tablets. And also those areas where they have hotspots, it increases the transport coverage in the sense that you have to move to those areas until you get the network so that you can remit the data. Because usually what we have done, the recommendation is that whenever you get to an area where there is a hotspot for data, because we're using SIM cards which can pick any network, whether it's Airtel or MTN, we're using those two service providers. And that's how we have arranged for them to access those areas and get the network. But in areas which are underserved, those challenges still exist.
Okay.
There are many others and so on and so forth.
Okay. Of course, challenges will always come. Even as we speak now, there could be another one that will show up unpredicted tomorrow. But then let us talk about the success stories of those places where the communities have embraced and they have actively participated in the census cause. And which communities are these so far? And where do you have the success stories so far?
Well, it might be difficult for me to enumerate, because if I mention 3 of them or 4, then the others will say, but why is she not considering us? I wish I had my printed list. Yes, it's difficult, but we've had regions, especially in the north, we had some challenges, but we have those districts which are really they are committed and they are mobilizing their teams to work despite those challenges we've had. I don't want to mention them to open a can of worms. Of delayed payments have been there, and you would find that some leadership in the districts would encourage their workers to continue as we get sorted towards the payment for especially the training allowances. I don't want to single out this one is better, this one is, we are all a team, we are in a boat and we are working together, we are all government, and that's why, it has been.
Well, talking about places where people have really actively participated, we also have communities where people are willing to participate. But I'll give an example. One of our workmates here says she was at home on Friday. She didn't see any enumerator. Saturday she didn't see any enumerator. Then Sunday, as she came from church, she found a writing on her gate, out of the gate, that she had been counted. But no one was at home. So how was she counted? And she's actually worried. She's like, how did they get my information? And why did they write? What did they write about me? So what about such situations?
Well, as I mentioned, that with such a big exercise, you find that there are challenges left and right. We have trained our enumerators. I don't know how this person will get all the details, but since now I'm here, maybe we need to follow up and find out what happened, which area, so that we are not going to have those whatever. We will be able to follow up as an organization and see what really happened, because quality is our number one. So if there are such cases, they shouldn't have happened. The instruction given is that you only write on the door, the main entrance, that so and so, these are my initials, and I've successfully completed an interview. You stroke with an E, 2024 PHC stroke, Helen Nviiri HN stroke, this is household 024 stroke E. It has been enumerated. You get me? So at the end of the day, if such a case happens, then she needs to contact the LC, the local leadership, and get the people in the area. The local leaders know, because they do guide them. They know where the boundaries are. Yes.
When the rollout was on, that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, social media has been stormed. And in the media, in the press, on TV, in the newspapers, on radio, with the enumerators trying to riot, if I can say. They are claiming that they were not allowed, they were not given the training allowances. Some say, I mean, there were a lot of issues. Some say they could not log into the copies even when the network was on. I mean, there were a lot. Some were saying they were not given T-shirts or leafleters or anything to identify them as enumerators that are part of the population census, even when on Thursday, on the census night, the guest here assured people that at least you'll see a mark that this one is an enumerator with maybe a T-shirt or a leafleter, but some still say they do not have these things. Then there are also others in hard-to-reach places who claim that WUBOS did not even mind about offering things like gumboots, or I mean, to access the places. Now, has WUBOS tried to handle some of these challenges that enumerators have encountered to guarantee accurate data collection and smooth transition of the bureau servers?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, we've had challenges. We had delayed start. Logging on the system, you see, when you are conducting such a big exercise as I indicated, people were allocated, enumerators were allocated tablets. And for you to become an enumerator, the process of recruitment involved filling or applying online, and we have your particulars. So the IT system would pick the credentials or the particulars from the e-recruitment system and be able to tag and whatever, a tablet. So people were trying to log on with their details. They were not on the server. Why? We experienced some challenges in the sense that some areas recruited less people. They didn't have the desired numbers, especially in metropolitan Kampala. This is Kampala, Wakiso and Mukono. So at the last minute, we realized that there was a shortage, and quickly we advised that they should increase the numbers. So then you would put aside the electronic system and then use the manual system. But later on, those details were not captured into the electronic system. So there was that kind of, even parents were calling some of us that our children login has become an issue, login. So that created that was the mishap. Then the other issue of what did you say? Training allowances. Oh, the training allowance. We are following government of Uganda guidelines, where today you pay up to the last beneficiary. So in the past, in the censuses that have happened in the past, we would have a budget where we would have an MOU with the district, and you put all the resources into one basket. And the districts are given guidelines in terms of the budget. That is at district level, then at sub-county level, then they would implement, pay the people and everything. Today you have to prepare these lists. So still we have to get the login, because we realize that some people were not in the system, but today with IT, with technology, it's very easy. And members had to, those who are training at that level, had to submit their details. But again, these particulars, any person to sign, they had to be initiated or they had to be an original letter from the chief administrative officer that these are the people, because we don't know them, the people who we have recruited in district XYZ. And those lists are compiled by the sub-county supervisors. But we've also realized that because of the many issues happening, it was the first time doing such a big exercise and paying to the dot, so it caused some kind of delay. So if you delay to submit those lists, even if you have the e-list without an accompanying letter endorsing the members that these are the people we've recruited, then it would cause delay. Otherwise, it's e-cash and payment to the dot. Yes.
Actually, on that same point, someone is asking here, what is going to happen to people who up to now have not yet started working? Will they be paid for the 10 days, or they'll pay for the 2 days they'll work?
No, they can't work for 2 days. They will have to finish the work.
No, I mean, because the exercise is ending on 10th. Now, by 10th, maybe they have only been able to work, sorry, not 10th. 19th. They have only been able to work on 18th and 19th. So, will they be paid for only those 2 days, or you will consider even these days where they were unable to log in their copy?
No, they will have to finish their assignment. It's just that we have had challenges. Their start time has come maybe after 5 or 6 days, and so the duration until they finish also, we will give them the same time.
So meaning they'll also have to work for 10 days.
So we will have some delays in other areas, because I mean, but also it also depends the decisions we will take, because we monitor on a daily basis. When we see the outputs and take decisions, we might get other teams also to come and support these teams, and we'll see how we can comb, especially those who will have finished. But although it's difficult to ferry people from one area to another, there are also other
extra costs.
Yes, extra costs and also other challenges. Yes.
So they should be rest assured that their remuneration will come.
Because if you have an appointment later, we are working left and right. I know some of the areas in Machindi, Sabakabo. Yes.
And this person might be coming from that place.
When I left office, we were just discussing some of these things, but I had to. Yeah, we are already aware, and it is also coming through our. When you do their spatial analysis. Yes.
This person should be coming from that area, because their location is in Deji, and I think Deji is much in the Sabagaba.
I'm aware. Even we had in which is this place in Gayaza, Kasangati, there were 9 training classes, a workforce of over 600. But half of them started late. But by Sunday, I think on Sunday, everybody was cleared. They also started late. Okay. So instead, we started on Friday morning, but others. So even we know the 2 areas where we have had challenges. Yes.
Okay.
But also in some districts, you find pockets, 1 or 2 people, because the tablet had issues and he's still waiting. You cannot say, let me borrow ABCD.
So when a tablet has an issue, is it brought back to Ntinda, where they were flagged off from, or it is managed in the district?
It depends on the number. The smaller the numbers, because in our distribution we had kept a few tablets, about 1 or 2 or 3 at the district, just for any eventuality. Yes, in case somebody has, and the district IT officers know what to do, how to provision them, or how to prepare them. Yes,
Okay.
and they have been handling it. Yeah.
Okay. Now elaborate on the potential impact of the census results on various sectors such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure development.
Thank you very much. There is quite a lot. This census has been, I think, the biggest in terms of content, the topics. There is a wealth of information. Yes, and I think we have laid a very good foundation. If we receive the results, if we don't get any challenges, and we are really positive in the sense that we get all these results at parish level, there will be a wealth of information. There are new topics. NIRA is waiting. We collected on information on who has a national ID, whether you got it and whether you registered. You have a NIN, but you don't have a national ID. That means you've not picked.
Yeah.
Or maybe you lost it. So we do take into consideration. I believe in terms of their delivery of services for the massive registration, they'll benefit a lot. What workforce do we deploy where? And you look at the concentration of the population. So in terms of infrastructure, they already know, especially for the human resource for registration. You look at areas, we have asked mothers whether they are pregnant in the sense that these are indicators which help us. We are improving the quality of our data, getting lower level estimates of percent pregnant when we are doing the population projections, because you also take into consideration those pregnancy outcomes. But also in terms of delivery of services for maternal health, we have VHTs who have been also aligned to a health facility. Now you don't look at an indicator in isolation. So you also look at the existing infrastructure. We have health center tools. They are already in our database. We have mapped them, because you simply get these files from the ministry, the schools and the health facilities. Is it health center 2, 3 or 4 in these communities? If in 2024 these women were pregnant, but look at the delivery of services, what do you have the human resource for this maternal and child health outcomes? And there is a lot. We have collected information on disability, especially you talk about mental health. We've been asking questions whether you have stress, whether you feel like committing suicide. People would wonder, why are we asking these funny questions? So there is a lot. Food security. Once you are food secure, you should have the capacity, whether it's financial, whether it's you have the growing the food. So when we ask, so these weather conditions have affected, a household can have shocks, and they really affect your consumption expenditure. Whether person who was taking 3 meals, maybe now you are taking 2 or 1. So we ask these questions, and we want to know, maybe with other information, then you are able to look at households which are food secure. You correlate this with other confounders, then you have very good analysis. I believe the researchers are really warming up for this data. It's really rich. It's a cost, but it's really rich data. There are quite a number of new topics there, and we believe we'll have, with the tablet, it improves the quality. The quality will be good. Yes.
At least this time there will be no time to wait for data entry, because Dr. Chris promised us that by December, at least a report will be ready.
He said 1.5 months. I think by June.
By June,
he will be the first provisional results to the country. He will be releasing them.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So this is the beauty of technology. Now we are finalizing with this discussion, but I would like you to encourage people to embrace the population census, and why they should really why they should embrace it, why they should participate actively in the exercise.
Thank you very much. Our viewers, our listeners, I'm even raising my voice. We are very grateful for the support. In some areas, you find that even the community is aware. The community announcers, the people receive the information and mobilizing the communities to be enumerated, to keep their doors, to keep their gates open for the enumerators. And please comply. Please, if you have not been enumerated, we encourage you to get in touch with your local leadership, so that, because they know where the enumerators are, they have a lot of work, and they will be reaching out to you. If there's no service, if you haven't been enumerated, please raise your hand. You can even call us. The numbers are already there on the templates, the flyers. Please be counted.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Helen Namirembe Nviiri, and thank you so much to you, our viewer. It is your responsibility. Duties and responsibilities of a citizen. This is one of them. Be part of the country's development, and the only way you can be part of the development is by taking part in the National Population and Housing Census. So receive it, collaborate well with the enumerators, give them all the information they need, because there is a reason as to why they have drafted that questionnaire. It is not for fun. It is not to fill up their database. No, it is all intentional. But before we go, I want to remind you that on the 3rd of June, we always commemorate the Uganda Matters. And among these, 23 of them were Anglicans, and the 22 matters were Catholics. So this year, the Midwestern cluster dioceses are the ones on the steering. So these are 6 dioceses. We have Rwenzori Diocese, West Rwenzori Diocese, Diocese of East Rwenzori, Masindi Chitara Diocese, Diocese of Bunyoro Chitara, and South Rwenzori Diocese. So Church of Uganda Family TV is the official broadcaster of this event. Therefore, we shall bring you all live events across all our platforms, the mainstream, and on our social media, on our app. But just to take you through the program, of course, after census, we shall now think about the Children's Day, which will happen on the 23rd of May. And then on the 24th of May, we shall have the youth event. 29th of May will be the Fathers Union and Christian Men Fellowship. 30th to 21st May will be Mission Crusades, and then on the 1st of June we shall have the women's event. This is a combination of both Mothers Union and Christian Women Fellowship. On Sunday the 2nd, it will be Sunday services everywhere, and then of course we shall crown up the entire program with the 3rd of June and the climax commemoration of the Uganda Matters Day at the Anglican Matters site in Namgongo. Be part of this whole arrangement, and just remind you that the organizing committee is having a fundraising dinner on Thursday at Kabira Country Club in Bukoto. Therefore, you can as well go and support the work of the Lord, because this whole arrangement calls for a lot of money. Jonan and Norman Conte and the entire team, it's a good night. We meet again tomorrow.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives.
Moses, Ramesses, you grew up together, close as brothers.